It's absolutely infuriating. Having to leave one life behind, start a new one in a new place, surrounded by new people, and having to deal with new problems is not fun. Well, let me tell you something. I've done it many times, and it never gets any easier. I remember when my parents told me we were moving. Again. I'd scrunched up my face like I usually do when I'm dissatisfied. I'd spent 2 years in the glorious state of California, had fallen in love with its balmy beaches, palm trees, and abundant mountains. And now, life was wrenching me away from it to dump me in a flat, mountainous, pompous, no man's land like state called Texas. It was unfair. Immediately, I'd stormed off into my room. Well, not really my room as it was an apartment. Had snatched a sheet of paper off of my desk and had penned a list of reasons not to move. Thus, my argument began. A kid's main problem in coming to a new place, apart from getting used to the new environment, is making new friends. Teenagers are vicious creatures. Do one thing wrong and they pounce at you, making you the new subject for gossip, and suddenly you stick out like a sore thumb even more than usual. That's an exaggeration, but high school is a mirror of the cutthroat nature of the wild. It had taken me those 2 years in California to weed through the bad apples of my school to find my friends, to find people who wouldn't judge me, accept me for my true self, and make high school as fun and entertaining as it could get. Even though there's a sense of finality during these 4 years, a sense that you're never going to meet these people again, your high school friends are still pretty darn close, and newcomers are unwelcome. I faced that problem every time we moved to a new place. My anger at having to leave this beautiful state and my new special friends was pretty strong, but I had more ammo. Whenever someone envisions a California girl, they think of Katy Perry and her bubbly music video, or a tall, tan, athletic surfer chick that spends all her time outdoors. Me? Well, I was a frumpy, dark, bushy-haired nerd whose only interaction with exercise, apart from dance class, was the walking to school every day and the required physical education class in school. Freshman year, the year before we moved to Texas, I joined the badminton team. Yes, they had a badminton team. Joining that was one of the best decisions I have ever taken. It made me fit, helped me make new friends, made me look beautifully skinny, and boosted my confidence. I planned on staying with that team up until senior year, but with the sudden plan of moving, that wasn't going to happen. Texas didn't even have a badminton team. Some people there didn't even know what badminton was. So I argued. The perk of being in California was being close to my mom's younger brother and his wife, my aunt and uncle. The year we moved there, my aunt had good news to tell us. She was pregnant. 9 months later, she gave birth to a baby girl, Aria. She was the cutest, sweetest, happiest little child with milky white skin and wide chocolate-colored eyes. I was there when my uncle rushed my aunt to the hospital on a Thursday night. I was there when she went into labor, and I was definitely there when she gave birth to Aria. I was also there for the next year or so, helping to take care of the little one and celebrating her first birthday with her. Having no siblings, I took it upon myself to treat her like my little sister, rather than as a cousin. I didn't want to leave her, having watched her learn how to crawl, how to stand, and slowly how to speak since the day she was born. I knew my parents had a soft spot for her, so I rammed them hard with this argument. I was sure it would convince them to stay, but to no avail. Dad's boss's word was final. We were going to Texas. The day we landed in Texas was the day I considered to be the worst day of my life. Worse than the day I had accidentally peed in my pants in elementary school, causing my teacher to quickly get me a change of clothes and the other kids in my class to laugh at me. Yeah, I considered it to be that bad. It's understandable though, isn't it? From the outside, Texas appeared to have no charm. It was just acres of farms, cows, big buildings, a sprinkling of big cities, but basically a flat expanse of nothing, just stretching out for miles in every direction. My mom told me that I would come to like it, like I'd come to adore California, and before that New Jersey, and before that Arizona, and before that South Dakota. I just laughed at her, telling her that such a thing was impossible. Man, was I wrong. There's a saying that I'm sure every Texan is familiar with. Everything is bigger in Texas. Whoever came up with that wasn't kidding. Texas, being a big state, has big farms, big schools, big houses, and big trucks, but best of all, big hearts. I was worried about having to confront prejudiced people, or those who wouldn't accept me simply because I was Indian, new, or because of some stupid reason like that. And although I met a few of those kinds of people, the majority were graciously accepting, and I loved that. It took me a little bit of time to find a niche for myself with the right group of friends, but within a couple of months, I was happy, and I haven't looked back since. Today, I'm as involved in my community and school as I can be, with volunteering and participating in numerous activities and clubs. I love my friends here, every single one of them, and I'm beyond thankful for their acceptance of me. It turns out that Mom was right. I would eventually come to love Texas. It's true that my heart will solely belong to California, but my experience in Texas has been a very rewarding one, and one that I will never forget. Funnily enough, now that my parents and I have bought a house and settled in, I refuse to go anywhere else. And I finally have my own room to paint and design the way I wish. I'm graduating this year, a proud Texan, and will be going to college in a few months. And you know what? I couldn't be happier.